Good afternoon. This is Alan at Discover Games, and I've got Jeff. Jeff, introduce yourself. First time we've met, so.
Yeah, this is the first time. My name is Jeff. I'm a youth pastor in mid-Michigan, and I've been playing miniature games since I was 14 years old and wandered into the hobby shop and got my first Necrons, which I never went anywhere with them. But
Still unpainted, right?
Yeah, they're still unpainted. I don't even know where they are. They're the old metal ones.
Those are the best.
Remember back that far, yeah. So I thought they were cool, Terminator type models, but yeah. So I've been in wargaming for a long time.
Cool.
What is that?
Well, let's jump right in. How'd you get started with Freeblades?
That's under some debate, to be perfectly honest. One of my friends and I were talking. He wanted to get into a miniatures game with me specifically. And this was in the gap of the old world completely burning, and along with dark elf armies and things like that, And so we were looking for something where you could cast magic. Tried out a couple of games with some kind of magic system, and stumbled across Freeblades that I liked quite a bit. But it wasn't until another friend of mine accidentally signed up for the Adepticon tournament.
Yeah, accidentally.
He thought it was a demo, so he had nothing, no material whatsoever. This was like 3 years ago maybe, and somebody, I assume John, but somebody gave him an army, and then walked with him and taught him how to play during that tournament, and he ended up winning this like undead sculpted Argrush thing. It was the love that the company showed my buddy, and I had played a demo that weekend, but that really kind of sold me on the game. And then I love the models as well, so that worked.
Yeah, I agree. I tell you, I got started back in February at Coastal Con, and met Julie and Matt, and I'd talked to them a couple times before that, with going into Coastal Con, and they were it was truly incredible. They'd never met me, didn't know who I was, but they were responding within minutes of me sending an email. And then met them, did this quick demo with Julie, and I was going to go over and do more, but every time I had a few minutes, they were doing demos, and I fell in love with the game right quick, and I was actually selling their product as a vendor. And at first, I was just sell it and give it back to them, and Julie comes over and says, hey, we can work something out, and we're flying. We'd rather not take this back. And I said, I like this game good enough. I'll take it. I'll take the risk of and keep everything. And, it sat around here for a while. And really it was the current happenings that as a game shop owner, and I mentioned this before, everybody thinks I sit around and play games, but I have a full-time job. This is second. I hadn't played a full game in like 6 months. So Troy, the shop manager, he'd read the rules one day. Hey, let's give this a try, and we hadn't stopped playing since. It's and then working with John, all the folks, they're awesome. I mean, I don't care if it's 2:00 in the morning or whatever. One of them's up. It's incredible.
John needs to sleep sometimes, I think.
Yeah, there's always
when he sleeps.
Like, I think I'm like weird hours, and I'll throw something up, but the response they have via message, Facebook, email is incredible.
Yep.
Working with them once again as a shop, I highly recommend other shops that see this check it out, because they'll help you out at whatever level you want to. And I'll start putting orders in and getting it within 3 days. Or quicker.
Yeah.
And this the support and even above that, the passion they have. You won't find in many games. And I'd say it, I'm working with some guys overseas. They were very passionate, working out of the garage. You don't find that passion, I don't think, in the U.S. as much. But they have it. They were probably the tops, one of the top in the U.S., I think, as far as the passion, and everything support. So, yeah, we've got games going on. We're still not fully open as the shop, but we do have one table set up that's where people are playing, and And Adam, I don't know if he's Adam Smith. He's been a beast. He brings his whole family up here, and they have play for.
Hey, that's great.
Same thing. I see his post all the time, but we're having fun. So, tell me, I guess, how long ago was this that you got started? You said 3 years ago.
It was 2 or 3 years ago. I think I've been playing for like 3 years now.
So you got 3 of you playing. How did you go? Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, so it was just me and one of my friends here. Matthew Gooch actually tossed us a campaign because we wanted to learn the campaign system, and it's a really short 3-game campaign. I can't remember. It's the Tomb of something with an A, but you can find that on the file section on the Freeblades player page. I think that's where it's at. Anyway, so we played that and kind of had fun. Then I got one other friend into it, my buddy Jacob, and the two of us started playing at the hobby store to play, and it was kind of this open thing. I was a quester at that point. I had messaged a couple of companies because I wanted to help run demos for games I really liked, and the only one that got back to me was DGS, and their quester support is fantastic. So if you want to try and start something in your area, I recommend messaging Matthew Gooch and seeing if that can happen. But so they had started. They had given me a quester pack, and so we ran demos in the local shop weekend, like every other week. We were in there. We were playing, just a small group of us, and maybe four of us or so. But we were anybody who was like, "Oh, that looks kind of interesting." It was like, "Hey, why don't you step in? I'll walk you through it. You could play a turn." Or and I was always there just to run demos and asking people if they wanted to play.
Cool. So where do you guys stand now? How big is your group? What do you guys got going on?
So we started a Facebook page or Facebook group so that we could, keep track of each other. There's one other quester here in Michigan, and so the two of us have combined our efforts together, that's been a huge aid. Is having somebody do it with you. So Colin here in Michigan, he's done a great job working events together and helping to promote the hobby statewide. Here locally, it's my one of my buddies, Jacob Hazy, who's done just a great job coming alongside me, talking to people, networking. So at this point, I think the Facebook group has something like 33 players in it, or 33 members in it. And then some of them are like really active, some of them are not so active, but we have we can really quickly and easily get 10 or 12 players out to a tournament if we decide to do something like
awesome. That. That's a good number to run a weekend tournament or something.
Yeah. It's fun.
You mentioned the campaign system. I know I've been talking about on the other videos. Once again, I think it really highlights the game and takes that game to the next level for me and what we're seeing here. And you talk about that, some people play a lot, some people that don't. I've never seen a campaign system that balanced where you could take someone that's playing a game almost every day and that person that's playing once every 2 weeks, and it's still competitive, it's still fun. There's incentive for that person to play, even though they may have lost or they're, don't have the huge free band, still an incentive to play. And it's almost the fact if you lose or you want to play the next game or you want to go up against the guy that's leading the campaign just to get the advancements. That's great. And
you can build you can build your force the way you want. I really think the campaign system is a way to shine. And you asked kind of where we're at now. One of the things I think really helped us was I started GMing a winter campaign for the group. And so our first year we had 6 people play. Second year we had 10 or 12 people play. And then this last year we had 14 or 15 people participating in it. Involves putting together tournament packs. As a quester, I view my job as to build the community. And so one of the key things is you might not get to play. And there are some days where I don't get to play. We play twice a week here in Mount Pleasant. But I might not play because I'm helping run a demo. I'm helping 2 new players go through it. And so there's a lot of weeks where I don't play, but that's all right. That's my job, is to facilitate the community rather than actually get games in myself. But it
Well,
was with those campaigns that we really started to see more participation, because it's a slow build. We do every other week as a campaign game when we're in season. So those are a lot of fun.
and it sounds like you're like me. I have as much fun teaching and doing the demos as I do playing. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
and,
we were at a con a couple of right before this whole quarantine hit, COVID. I ran a demo at a con, and I lost my voice because we were yelling and getting so excited about the monster spiking and
oh
killing
sure,
somebody, or somebody attacking the monster and doing really well. And so I really like their NPC rules. Those are some fun games to play.
yeah, I've done demos at. I was bummed. I was supposed to go first time to Adepticon this year. Of course, it was canceled.
Yep.
Went up to actually where I lost my voice was at PAX Unplugged back this year. Sunday, in the level, the volume is louder and louder. You don't realize you're already yelling. Then when you do get excited and yell, and it's like But yeah, and I tell you, I'm not going to bash Games Workshop. They are what they are, and they're the big daddy, and they do a lot of good stuff. But to see someone that plays a Games Workshop game come into your demo and go, wow, this is cool. And, that just adds that much more to me when I'm demoing a game, that to realize there's other games out there, especially once again, like Freeblades, that more of an independent, smaller game. Because I'm finding, talking to you guys, I go back to, I'm the newbie that's got started in it, but the people that's been playing the game for several years, the passion you guys still have, that tells me, hey, this game's got legs. Because, you can bring in a game, you play it for a month, 6 months, maybe in a year in a shop, and then it's the next shiny thing. I see Freeblades sticking around. You may have people come and go in a campaign, but, you already said you've been doing it for 3 years, and you're still growing. That's, to me, that's awesome for a game.
Well, what's funny is one of my friends, the guy who initially me and him got into it together, he has Falcarin. That was his first faction. It's Falcarin, and he picked up Eclipse for his birthday last year. Or 2 years ago, he got Eclipse. He has yet to play the Sisterhood of the Eclipse, and the reason is because we keep bugging him about it. Is why would I'm still having tons of fun with Falcarin, and I don't feel like I'm done with them yet. I'm really enjoying them. I think we need to keep going with Falcarin.
Yeah.
So he hasn't gotten a chance to play his Eclipse because he just can't put down the Falcarin because there's so many different, combinations that you can do. And
you want to add that next model to your next character to that free band.
Well, and then they just released, the Parakeer.
You get a new one. Yep.
That's a whole new, that's a whole new thing. So.
No, and I'm excited. The same thing, they're growing the game. They continue to bring out new stuff. The World Anvil website, I think that's
going
to be great because, once again, being a new person and, I hang out late night in my shop and I don't feel like playing, but hey, I want to read something and being able to, in the near future, find that fluff, find the, history behind or make my own history with the game I just played is going to be awesome. So you said you're Mount Pleasant, and I'll give you a plug your local store if you want to.
Yeah, it's Game On Mount Pleasant. They started carrying Freeblades models, and they got 3 locations in Saginaw, Midland, and Mount Pleasant, Michigan. And so they carry it there. And then Gatekeeper Games down in Burton, maybe. They're thinking about carrying it, but that's Colin's home store, and so they run demos down there as well.
Well, I'm finding huge Midwest, one of those games. It's kind of it is. That's how you do grow, is go to the smaller conventions, the grassroots.
Yeah,
that was things I've done down here in the Southeast, and that's one reason I'm trying to do these videos, because we're not getting to go to the conventions. Is
right.
Try to get the word out, and I hope to grow. We've got could have a huge following here in the Atlanta area and the whole Southeast. There's a few players down in Florida, And once we get to go have conventions, I would love to get with those guys, go down to Jacksonville, Orlando, and support them. So
yeah, I mean, we are right now we're set. I don't know, everything's kind of up in the air as far as COVID, but Michigan is set to host our national championship coming up here at the Michigan GT, which is it's a big tournament with there's 40K, Age of Sigmar, Wild West Exodus, all the games, and so we're hoping to host our nationals there.
And once again, I know everything is subject to change, even later today or tomorrow with things going on. But what's the details on that? When are they?
So it's going to be October 2nd through 4th. That's the dates that are slated right now, which is really great. It's 6 months before Adepticon or after, so it's right there in the middle. Yep, I like that a lot. And then it'll be a 1-day tournament that we're looking at for the Saturday, the 3rd. But for people coming in from further away, right now I'll be GMing, and we got some fun stuff in the plan. But I'll be GMing a campaign that will take place on Friday and Sunday, and that'll have prize support along with it, just the same as the tournament. The GT, it's something like 60 or 70% of your what you pay to play in the games that during that weekend goes straight towards prize support. And so we make it a priority for the Freeblades tournament that everybody gets something.
That's cool.
Yep, everybody walks away with something, and so that's always been fun. And actually, every Michigan tournament we've had, everybody has gotten something.
And where's this going to be? Who's hosting?
Lansing, Michigan, October 2nd through the 4th. Cost right now, if it holds from last year, it will be $30 entry for each event. But otherwise, there's no badge that you buy or anything like that. So,
and you said this is at a convention?
Yeah, it's the convention. It's called the Michigan GT.
Okay, I got you. And you're going to have, that's good.
It's just a Michigan statewide tournament halfway between Adepticons.
Too bad Michigan's a long ways. It's still tempting.
Yeah, well, you can fly right into Lansing or Grand Rapids and take.
Well, right now you could probably get really cheap flights. Delta's looking for business.
So, yeah, I know it's a long way away. That's why we wanted to add the campaign option for people who are coming from further, so you can get a lot of games in.
Sure.
Including there may be a siege that will be taking place during the campaign. So
cool. Once again, you're a lot more experienced with Freeblades than me. What's some, I guess, this general insights? Like, what's your favorite part of the game? What keeps you going with the game?
Yeah, there's a ton of versatility in the game. I really like how I think. All right, I'm kind of verbal processors. So I'm all over the place sometimes.
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay. Here we go. I really like how this game is less about what list you take and more about how you use the models that you have. There are some other games that are out there that you take a list and you're going to win 9 times out of 10 unless you come up against the rock to your scissors. You're probably going to win because it's a really good list, perhaps broken.
Sure.
But in Freeblades, there isn't any of that. So everybody can do well with a list if they know how to use their list, their list. So I really like that. One of my favorite phases of the game, if you will, is magic. So here in Michigan, we just pooled our resources over the last couple of months, and during the coronavirus, we sponsored the Koronanns faction. So you guys will have a great opportunity to play with some of the Koronanns models coming up in the next year or so. They'll probably be released. And we're in play testing with that right now. And so the reason I bring that up, one of my favorite phases is magic. I love the magic phase. I think it's a really short one, but it can have some major effect on the battlefield. The spells are awesome. There's a lot of crossover between lists, but there's also a lot of unique spells that exist on different lists.
I'm still trying to learn how to use my magic correctly, because you have one shot and you only have 5 spells you want to use, and it's like, and then it doesn't make or break the game. No, but man, you got to play it right.
Yeah, a summoned spiritual warrior in the right spot to go and intercept that charging Vesalier Knight. That can be just as game changing as a icy blast hitting a group of people, or a fireball hitting a group of people. And doing some damage. And so that's what I really like the magic. And the Koronanns have 2 casters in their free band, and so you can actually take 2 casters, a Moon Priest and a Moon Priestess. And so the spells are really great there. If you want to hint at what those spells might look like, you can look at the Enchantress.
Okay.
Lore-wise, the Enchantress for the Bandits is a Moon Priestess. Her name is Adalika, and she is a Moon Priestess that's undercover within the Black Rose Bandits.
Cool. That's we were actually talking about that, me and Troy, last night, and and knowing that you were going to be on there, I was going to ask you about that, but you got right into it, and I'm glad that. What is the Corona? We tried to find some stuff. There's a little bit out there, but tell me what is Corona? I
mean, Corona are, I can tell you like theme things. We gotta wait till World Anvil comes out.
I understand that, but give us some insight.
Yeah, the Koronanns are based on. So what John does is when he creates these factions and stuff, what DGS does is they look at real historical empires and factions and things like that to kind of get inspiration for theirs. And so if you are a fan of the Byzantine Empire, you're going to love the Koronanns because they are very much spear and shield. Almost everybody has spear and shield, or shield and saber, and they feel very Byzantine because they're modeled after the Byzantium Empire. And so that's going to be really exciting, especially for me. I actually lived in Istanbul, which is which was the center of the Byzantine Empire for a while there. And so I'm really excited to see these guys come to light. So that's going to be their field. They work together with teamwork in pairs quite a bit, and we're working on figuring out how that's going to look. But your Blade brother and Blade sister have some really cool talents that work together, so they work really well together. It's going to take the teamwork talent to a whole new level, and that's what they'll do.
Cool. No, we're excited about that, and it's once again it goes back to, as you mentioned, John and the whole gang of their commitment to the community and getting our buy-in to the game, and with what you guys did there. Well, back up. What did y'all guys do? You kind of alluded to it. But
we had a bake sale. we had a bake sale during one of our tournaments. But before that, John was bored one day, I guess, and he posted this weird meme, and there is of different social medias and with Koronann or with different artwork from Faelon in there, and one of them, the Tinder social media, was the Koronann Moon Priestess, and I was like, what is that model? And so that got us talking, and kind of spun out of control, and pretty soon here in Michigan we have a tournament, a Adepticon Primer tournament in February, and we had a bake sale during that where we raised some money for it, and other people just gave of their money that wanted to see this come to light, and I do some commission work and was able to give any proceeds from that to the Koronann fundraiser as well. So we were able to raise the money that we needed. And so if you have a faction that you're like, oh man, this would be cool, you can contact John and see if that's something that's possible. I will tell you, it is kind of expensive.
Yeah,
$100 a model. So to fund it, but
no, but very few companies will they might take input or a poll somewhere of where the game's going, but that type of direct input. And I just I know the Drowned Earth, he did some gene splicer, he called it, where you could help create some of the minis in the game. Mm-hmm. But there's very few people out there that will let you touch their game, if you will, and kind of help drive the way it's going. So
yeah, I mean, we've gotten to design a couple, one model particularly from the floor up, and so it was just a blank template, and we fully got to design that model, and then we got to have some input into some of the other ones. Anybody who gave of their own finances was invited into the conversation on development.
that's cool. That's
a lot of fun.
that's exciting. And you said probably, and I know looking at some stuff, see that in about a year from now. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah,
Depending.
probably. It takes that's what's been communicated. Is it takes about a year from starting of playtesting and design to final product. So hopefully this coming August or so, you'll start
to see some.
You'll be able to buy some Koronanns models.
Cool.
Or not this coming August. Sorry, not
Next
this
fall.
August.
Yeah.
Next August. Yeah. 2021.
Definitely have to save up my pennies for that, because it looks interesting. And
It's going to be a really fun faction to play. That's for sure.
So, well, what else you got out there for me?
I mean, I'll just swing back around to the campaign system. I really like the NPCs that we get to play with, and so the whole Freeblade system has been designed around you playing the games that you want to play. And so we have 20 scenarios. There's another 4 in play testing right now. Yep. 2 of those were submitted by other players. I know one guy who submitted 10 different scenarios for them to consider. And so there's lots of options. So if there's something that you want to do and create, go ahead and do that. So I'll give you the climax of the Beast Behind the Veil campaign that we did. It was 6 or 7 games long, and the climax of it was the Black Knight scenario. Okay, that's not a big deal. There were 4 pillars out there as well. If you look at like Dominion, or Domination. If you look at that game, that's where the pillars were focused, and then the Black Knight was in the middle. And the Black Knight was allied with Thrakensor the Dragon. And so it wasn't just the Black Knight, who's hard enough. If you ever play that scenario, he's a pain. It was also this dragon that nobody's killed. Yeah. Well, the Black Knight there, he had chained or bound the dragon to his own will, and you could try to destroy those pillars that were around there. When the 4th pillar dropped, this is how I described it. I'm a big D&D guy. We've been playing, RPGs for a long time. But I said, as the 4th pillar is destroyed, you see the cloud of dust rise as the dragon writhes in pain and agony and roars out. Suddenly, silence falls as you lose sight of the dragon in the dust cloud. A moment later, the dust settles. The dragon stands there, and you see the Black Knight, and he takes a step away from the dragon. And everybody's like, oh! And then from that point on, as the GM, the dragon's job was then to do whatever he could to kill the Black Knight, because he was so mad that the Black Knight had done that to him.
Cool.
And in the 3 games that happened, the Black Knight was killed by the dragon in each game.
That's a great twist. Like I said, that is telling a story. I go back to your campaign, the narrative. You mentioned the list. Yeah, you build your list to play the story, play the campaign, not to win the game. And we're all new here, and trying to learn that, because yes, you need to build your list, but you're not building a list to play win a certain game, because the next scenario, the next opponent, that list may be totally ineffective against that.
Yeah, it's kind of all up in the air. I like to, when I build a list for Freeblades, I really like to look at the different aspects coming into it. You kind of want to make an all-comers list. So I really like ranged combat. That's kind of my favorite thing. The Falcarns I just ran in the tournament. Last year at Adepticon, I ran Trillions. But with the Trillion list, it was the leader was a shooter, a searcher upgrade to a leader, and then a second searcher, and then a blade rider dismounted, but she's a switch hitter. So then my other heroes were a stargazer and then a mist dancer which is this insanely good melee assassin for the Trillions, and a downgraded Star Seeker. And so he's there to – so I had a really good melee base with some really good shooting, and it ended up being a really fun list to play. But, again, it's just know how your list works, but it could be taken out by heavy armor was scary for me because I'm only rolling D8s for damage and with my arrows. And, you know, you just got to figure out what works for you and play what works for you, and it will work, like, in the game.
Yep.
So
well, I know you got other things on your plate today, and I appreciate your time.
Yep, we got to go play test the Koronanns.
I can't. I'm definitely not going to keep you from that. That's priority. So I appreciate your time. It's great to meet you, and
good meeting you too.
I look forward to all you old pros out there who's been playing forever. I look at picking your brain and as I learn and grow in the game, and hopefully I can help you guys support an awesome game, awesome company. So any parting words?
Yeah, I just want to throw out, if you're trying to start a Freeblades community in your area and want some suggestions, just message me. I'm on the Freeblades page. I post or like or comment stuff almost every day. So feel free to do that. Message me with any suggestions. It's a lot of what I've shared here already. Be prepared not to play. Always run demos. And a big thing is try to get a regular time. We were playing every other week. We had a standing date, if you will, to play Freeblades in there. Call, text people, get them to show up, and just try to care for your community well instead of caring for yourself. But, yeah, you can message me and or any of the other questers or Matthew Gooch, and we can definitely help you build the community. We love the game and want the community to grow. And so – yeah.
Now I'll post some links in the description, and I appreciate your time. And with that, I'll let you go. And
all right.
Once again, thanks. It was good to talk to you. And
thanks for having me on, Alan.
We'll do this again in the future. So
all right. Hopefully, we'll meet at one of these cons or
we will.
Adepticon 2021 at the very latest.
We will. We definitely will.
All right.
You have a great day. Thanks again.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.